After last night's regulation loss to the Columbus Blue Jackets, it looks like the Flyers' playoff dream is actually dead. So what is next? 12 games left. Charlie and I are going to talk about it right here on PHLY Flyers. That's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers, presented by Bet365. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the evening. Joining me here live in the Xfinity studio, it is Philly's #1 hockey beat reporter, Charlie O'Connor. What's going on today, Chuck?
I mean, after last night's game, still a little bummed. Still tired. It was up late writing because there was a lot to write about for this game. It's... In the cold open, you say that it's over. I'm not ready to say it's truly over. I can tell you the people, I just came from practice and tell you the people in that room do not think it's truly over. But it does seem like they squandered a major opportunity to convince everyone that this actually could happen.
This is a conversation Kelly and I had on pregame and a little bit on postgame last night. We often joke about how when the whole city is watching, they sometimes come up a little small in those situations.
No, it's been a regular thing for the last decade.
Now, I don't know if last night qualifies. It was a national telecast, but
a lot of people weren't able to watch.
Only on Hulu.
Yeah, a lot of people weren't able to watch because of that ridiculous thing.
Kelly anecdotally saw a lot of, Philly Twitter people who aren't necessarily, Flyers exclusive or Flyers primary people going, I want to catch this game. It looks like, it's a pretty big game and everything. And of course, they lose in regulation at home to the Columbus Blue Jackets, one of the teams in the division that they are chasing. And we'll get into the standings in a little bit. I can't say it's definitely over because, hey, 12-game winning streaks have happened. It happens, They could win 9 or 10 out of these 12, get the loser point in a couple, and hey, maybe. What if one of these teams really falls off? All of a sudden, Boston just can't keep the puck out of their net for a week. But it just kind of feels like that was the, hey, if they win this and they win it in regulation, they're in the conversation. It's a real conversation now. And instead, they come away with absolutely nothing. And it's like you said, it's a bummer. It's an absolute bummer. It is to the point that I get out of the shower today. I'm looking in the mirror, Charlie, and I am just... maybe I need to change the look a little. Maybe I need to, I've had the playoff beard going since Halloween. And so I just take off the mustache and I go, nope, that's how I feel. I feel insane. I feel insane for continuing to love the team the way I do because I want them to make the playoffs. I want them to win the next 12. And also, I just want this freaking thing to end so we can move on to draft and the offseason moves Briere can make and all this other stuff that could make this team actually good moving forward. And I end up just looking like an insane Amish person. And that is honestly how I feel today, covering the Philadelphia Flyers on a daily basis.
Respect.
Nuts. And that's honestly what I think I look like. We're going to get into a bunch of topics and things. I want to talk Owen Tippett. I want to talk where they are in the standings, what they've done to get here, and what's next, as the title of the show implies. But a couple of news and noteworthy things from practice today, Chuck, I just want to get into a little bit. You did do a practice note, so
I did. That's
for an in-depth look at all this stuff. Check that out whenever it goes live. But first thing I wanted to ask was, sounds like Grebenkin's actually been hurt. So there's been a little bit of consternation, why is it Hathaway and Glendening and all this and Grundstrom and not Grebenkin? Well, sounds like he's not available.
Yeah, it seems like, based on the way that Tocchet described it today, it seems like he's been battling this. It's an upper body issue. It seems like he's been battling this for a bit. They sent him to a doctor to get it checked out today so that he wasn't at practice. It's kind of one of those things. Tocchet has been mentioning, before a lot of games recently.
Every game, he's like someone's day-to-day.
Game time decision. Maybe he's looking at it as, because My understanding is Grebenkin could have played last night. It wasn't like he was secretly injured and they just didn't tell us. But maybe it's one of those things where, well, we're going to get 70% of Grebenkin or we're going to get 100% of Grundstrom, so I guess we'll go with Grundstrom. It does make the decision to sit Grebenkin, if not defendable, at least a little more understandable. And now you got to worry, are they going to find something? I mean, I'd like to see Nikita Grebenkin play more games the rest of this year. It seems like he is highly questionable, if not doubtful, for Thursday's game. And then beyond that, I guess it's just going to depend on what they find at this doctor's appointment.
Yeah, that's when it was, he's been dealing with something. Now he's going to go see a doctor about it. Like, oh, okay. So it's
not getting better.
It's not getting better. We got to take a look. Yeah. Maybe it's a little worse than we thought. All right, that makes sense. It did sound like Tocchet was like, about tomorrow, whether that's injury related or he's just like, I'm good. Yeah. Either way, it doesn't sound like he's going to be in the lineup. He could be. Who knows? There's game time decisions every game, it sounds like. So he did take warm-ups yesterday, as did Andrae.
So I imagine that he could have played, but I do wonder if the banged-up nature of him at the moment may have factored into the thinking of not playing him. And now they're seeing how serious it might be. Sounded
like Tocchet had a few things to say about Barkey and Bump and maybe the sheltering of their minutes and what they're going through, whether they're banged up or not. Anything noteworthy you thought came out of those? A couple of questions.
I don't think anything too noteworthy. I mean, he makes it very clear, Tocchet did today at least, that, and I talked about this in my article I wrote last week on the Flyers' offensive issues, that he really likes what Bump theoretically brings to the table in terms of going to high danger areas as a shooter and making himself an option to shoot from dangerous areas. Because we talked about Tocchet's offensive system, and the drawback of it is they go through long stretches where they just don't shoot the puck because they can't get to a dangerous area. And Tocchet's basically telling them that, hey, if you don't have the puck in a dangerous area and there's not traffic in front, don't shoot. Keep probing and looking for a better opportunity. A lot of those times then they lose the puck and then it goes the other way and they don't take a shot. Bump seems like the kind of guy that Tocchet likes because if you have more of those types of guys that do make themselves options for shots in high danger areas, you're therefore going to have more shots because you have guys going to the area where Tocchet's going to give the team the green light to shoot. So it seems like he still very much likes Alex Bump. He just thinks that over the last few games, maybe he's not moving his feet enough. Maybe he hasn't been as active as you'd want. Denver Barkey, the thing that really bothered him, and I think fans can probably, most fans are not, at least fans that watch our show seem not to be a big fan of Rick Tocchet, but I think you can all empathize with this frustration. Seems like Tocchet was really, really frustrated with Barkey's unwillingness to shoot the puck on that 2-on-1.
Yeah.
That really irked at old Taco.
Well, you see a game, and listen, that was one of their higher volume shooting games. They have 25, 26 shots. Yeah. And like you said, I heard today, it was yesterday's Marek, Wyshynski's on, and he's talking about just shooting league-wide. You know what the league-wide save percentage is this year?
I do not.
With, most teams have 10, 12 games left. 897.
Wow.
And yes, teams it's not the Corsi Hockey League anymore, sure. As they noted. It's not shoot from everywhere. Shots are being tabulated differently, as we've noted a few times, because you can bet on shots on goal now. So if it's not like a definite shot, it ain't going to count.
Right.
So that messes with the number a little bit. But overall, teams just aren't shooting as much. They're going for those quality shots. When you do have the opportunity, you need to take them, and that could probably be a little frustrating. Talk was asked about Tyson Foerster, and it's just more of the same. We'll see.
Yeah, the interesting bit of info that he gave, and it seemed almost like a little slip, so I almost wonder if he wasn't necessarily supposed to reveal this, is that a lot of whether he comes back this season is going to be dependent upon where the team is, which we knew. Yeah. It makes sense. But more or less what Tocchet said today, at least the way I interpret it, was, look, if we're out of the playoff mix by the beginning of April, he ain't playing. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. But we're 2 or 3 points out and there's 3-4 games left. Hey, maybe we could be convinced to throw him in there.
10 goals in the first 21 games. They've clearly missed his shooting and finishing ability, as we talked last night. I don't think last night was one of those they got terribly outplayed games. They just didn't capitalize on their opportunities. Tippett gets a breakaway, doesn't score. Cates gets the penalty shot, no go. The power play with Cates on the doorstep. Hey, man, it's a totally different period if they capitalize, or it's a totally different game if they're up 3-0 after the first, as Toc said they should have been. And so it makes sense. But, yeah, why bring a guy back whose original timeline was Game 6 of the first round, second round,
maybe,
like
first, second round, something like that. Yeah,
like we'll see. And now it's maybe we could. Yeah, why if they've been mathematically eliminated on April 3rd? What's the point of that?
The other thing he said, which maybe will set your mind at ease a little bit about Tyson Foerster, he was asked about Foerster's shot, and he said that Foerster's shot, to his eyes, is at about 80 to 85% of what it is at its peak. And if it's already there, cross your fingers that shot is going to come back in its entirety after the surgery.
And I think on the West Coast trip, when we got the actual photo of him in the yellow jersey for the first time, like, oh, he's out there.
Yeah.
Tocchet mentioned, like, that shot still looks good to me. I was like, oh, okay, that's one of those. It's not like he has a long injury history, but when he hurts, gets similar injuries a couple of times.
Two shoulder, arm
and
type
this
injuries.
is, listen, we like him as a two-way player. We like his ability to win battles and things. The shot is what makes him a high-end potential player.
Yes.
Like, oh, yeah, he could net 30 or more. If he doesn't have that, where's the actual ceiling for him? Sounds like, at least as of right now, not that huge of a concern, so that's cool. Anything else from practice today?
Nothing crazy.
Oh, the home thing. That's what I wanted to bring up.
Oh, yeah, this is something that really bothers you that doesn't really interest me at all.
It doesn't so much bother me. I mean, it bothers me.
I'm just telling you, like, when I'm in a scrum and coaches and players are talking about home road splits, my eyes glaze over. I just stop paying attention because I don't care.
I do just think, like, you should win the majority of your home games. If you are a serious team, you should be over 500 and not over hockey 500 like they are at home. They are 15, 12, and 8. But, man, it's supposed to be like home ice advantage. And the people buying tickets, like, I wanted the playoff atmosphere last night. Maybe in the beginning there was some buzz, but there was some times in the second where it was just absolutely dead in that building. And it's because they gave away the lead 2.5 minutes into the or into the second period. It sucks it out. And then when you see, all right, 15, 12, and 8 at home, so 15 and 20, it's not the end of the world. 3, 7, and 4 at home since the beginning of the second half on January 8th. Like, that's not good enough. And we'll get into a bunch of other records that they have this year, like against the Metro, Eastern Conference playoff teams and things. That's later. But, man, that's rough. 3, 7, and 4 at home in the second half. You're just making it more difficult for yourself when you won some scheduled loss games, and you kind of wash those away with, hey, it wasn't a back-to-back. You were at home. You didn't have to travel, and you lose in regulation. Like, that's tough. That is, I think, just making it a little harder on yourself, and it's frustrating for the people who go and buy tickets. Yeah. You and I are not in that group.
Sure.
I watch every game here. You have a press pass. But there are, 18,000 people or so who buy tickets to every game, and they have left disappointed quite a bit since January. No.
And to be clear, like, I feel bad for the fans that they're not seeing a better product. I do. I empathize. My eyes glaze over when I hear that talk because I just don't think it's actually meaningful. Like, I don't think the fact that they've had a bad home record since January 6th implies that they're going to have a bad home record over the final however many home games they have left. Like, I just don't think it's that meaningful statistically, so that's why it doesn't bother me that much. But I totally get why fans are frustrated. They want to go to a game and see a team win, especially when it's a big game like it was last night, and instead they got to see them have one good period.
It is more of a what happened versus what will happen sort of like, all right, this is what happened, but that doesn't mean they can't win the rest of their home games. I don't think there's anything you can take from, like, this and go, well, this is a fatal flaw. It's like, no, they just need to win some of those games.
They need to win home games. They need to play better at home.
Yeah, and you're looking, like, all 3 of their wins at home in the second half in regulation. We know they rarely play a regulation game. 4 overtime losses, like, okay, that would make them 7-7. That's acceptable. At least more acceptable.
It's a fair point.
At least more acceptable than the 3, 7, and 4 that they are.
Not horrendous.
That's just, it's just a minor irk. But there's a lot of issues with this team. The winning home versus road. I don't know. They play 41 home, 41 away. I guess it'll be that plus, neutral site games probably in the future when we go to 84.
Like, the only thing that's
mildly Prague or whatever.
The only thing that's mildly interesting to me about the home thing, and I don't think this is the case. You heard it a little bit last night, but it really hasn't been the case for most of this run. Like, you do wonder if they're letting the frustrations of the fans get to them. If they hear fans getting on their case and then they try too hard, they start gripping the stick more. And that, to be clear, that's not a fan problem. That's a player problem.
Yeah.
Like, this is you're You play in Philadelphia, you're going to get booed. Like, tough crap.
Play better.
Learn how to deal with it.
Yeah.
But you do wonder if maybe that is affecting some guys in that, they start hearing the cat calls and then it makes them play worse. And again, not the fans' fault. Fans are allowed to express their displeasure. It's a player thing that young players in particular, have to get better at handling that.
Mike Schmidt got booed in this town. He is the best third baseman ever. Yeah. You're going to get booed. Play better. Yeah. But it is like, oh man, just win some of these home games. All right, on the other side, we're going to talk about last night's game and where we go from here. We're going to get into some Owen Tippett stuff because, hey, maybe he's a center. Maybe not. We'll talk about all that. Just wait through these next 2 minutes. At Bet365, they know the only thing better than winning bets with your money is winning bets with theirs. And there's never been a better time to do just that than right now. Thanks to their Bet $10 and get $365 promo available to every single new Bet365 user. All you have to do is sign up, make a $10 bet, and win or lose, you'll be given $365 in bonus bets because it never hurts to have a little extra cheese or bread or onions. And now, Philly fans, thanks to Bet365 early payout offer, leaving early has never been safer. If the team you're riding goes up 10 at any point in the game, Bet365 will pay your bet out right there on the spot. Bet365, where winning is everything. Download the app today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Please gamble responsibly. Must be present in PA. $10 minimum deposit required. Bonus bet wager excluded from returns. New customers only. 21 plus. Time limits, minimum odds, and T's and C's apply. In-app only. Void where prohibited. Whether your favorite team wins or not, there's always another way to win on the BetParx online casino app. You got to check out brand new games like Huff N' More Puff and Fireblaze Sky Queen, which is a BetParx exclusive. You can play blackjack, you can play roulette, you can play craps, poker, baccarat, and hot online slots like Cash Eruption and 88 Fortunes. Play all your favorite classic casino games from wherever you are, and new users right now get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. Play hot online slots based on your favorite streaming shows like The Walking Dead and Breaking Bad. All your favorite classic casino games from wherever you are. It's the only app I ever use to play all my favorite casino games right in the palm of my hand. Go to betparx.com and download the app right now to enjoy all the action and excitement from the casino at your fingertips. You must be 21 and in PA, Jersey, Maryland, or Michigan for BetParx. You love to play. You play to win. You bet. BetParx. Remember, gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Welcome back to PHLY Flyers, presented by Bet365. And guess what day it is? Wawa Wednesday! Happy Wawa Wednesday to all who celebrate. And this is the big deal presented by our friends at Wawa. Now, Charlie, no team has it every night. But some nights you just have to have it. You're going to be judged for your performance in those games that just way heavier than others. That's the way it goes. That is competitive sports. Yeah, it is. Last night was a game where the Flyers needed to have it, and they just simply didn't. I'm not saying they were terrible last night. They weren't. They were fine. They just simply needed to be, hey, we can win a coin flip here. They needed to be better than that last night. They did not have it, and that's not good enough this time of year. Travis Konecny had a quote after the game that was, some people took not so great. Let's put it that way.
My mentions were blowing up.
So you tweeted this quote out from the post-game availability last night. TK said, I mean, it's not like we were going to win out the rest of the year. We lost one game against an opponent that was above us. It's frustrating, but it is what it is, and you just regroup. Now, I see where he's coming from. You're not going to win the final 13 games of the season. That's not in the cards for pretty much any team.
Would have been a 16-game winning streak. Given the fact they were coming off of a
three.
Yeah.
But one, like you haven't won 4 in a row in a long, long time. We've gone into that a whole bunch. 2, the position you put yourself, and we've harped on this over and over. I hate repeating myself this much, but the position you put yourself in by winning only 3 of the 15 games leading up to the Olympic break was you really aren't in position to not have it in a home game against a division opponent ahead of you in the standings. And that's what happened last night. Yeah, they were fine. They could have won. A couple of breaks go their way, a couple of different things. Sure. but they didn't, and you needed to be better than that. And TK's quote, that's probably the attitude the locker room needs to have, but it's just not going to play well with the people who watch and cheer for this team.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at because, you know, if you're asking me, like, do I love the quote? Like, I don't love it, but I do think that you need to look at it in a certain context. Like, I don't think this is a great quote for fans. I also don't think this quote was directed at fans. I think this quote was directed at his teammates. I think this was meant to send a message to the team to not wallow in this, to say, hey, you know, we just came off a 3-game winning streak. We weren't going to lose every game. Let's shake this off and let's go out and let's win the next 3, or at least the next 2, because that Dallas game on Sunday is going to be real tough, especially the second game of back-to-back. I think it was more directed at his team than the fans. And the reason why I believe that is, like, one of the things I got in my mentions, and I get it, because, like, the quote, again, doesn't look great. You know, saying it is what it is, like, fans are never going to respond well to that because it feels like you're dismissing, you know, the importance of the game. There's also the element in there about like, well, we weren't going to win every game. Like, yeah, but you needed to win this one. It's devaluing the importance of what was objectively an important game. But it's not that he didn't care. And when we walked into that room and everyone is out of the room, we as in the media, we walk out of the room and everyone on the team is out of that room except for Travis Konecny, who is in full skates, pads, uniform, everything, just staring at the ground, trying to collect his thoughts, and was doing that for a good 5 minutes before he finally started getting up and taking off his pads. Like, it's hard for me to believe that he doesn't care and that he is not fully invested and that he wasn't just as angry and bummed as the fans were about this game. I have to believe that probably what happened was he knew his name was on the board. He knew we were going to talk to him, and he's like, how am I going to present this to the group? How am I going to try to keep everybody's spirits up? I'm going to go up there and basically say, you know what, it's just one game. Let's go out there and win the next 12. I think it was directed far more at the teammates and his teammates than it was at the fans. I don't know if he knew that the fans were going to respond as negatively as they did. Maybe he should have. Maybe he could have worded it differently. But I do think that this comment was mostly meant to rally the troops. And by the troops, he meant the people in the room.
The dudes in the room.
Not the people outside of it.
Absolutely. And listen, we have said time and time again, he's the straw that stirs the drink. He's the emotional leader of this team. You ask around most Flyers fans, they'd be like, yeah, he should be wearing the C. Quite honestly, I know you don't care about that conversation, but just that's a prevailing opinion a lot, just because he's, you know, a 19-minute-a-night contributor, and the guy wearing it isn't.
He's still a high-end player.
He's one of he is their best skater. But that is where I question, well, where was Mr. I'm tired of missing the playoffs last night?
It's a fair point.
19 and a half minutes, no points, no hits. I think he had 2 shots on goal. That's not, 2 shots on goal. That just isn't a performance indicative of the emotional leader of the team trying to will his boys to an improbable playoff appearance. It wasn't good enough last night. Now, he's not alone. Literally nobody was good enough last night. Not a single guy. But more is expected of Travis Konecny being your highest paid player, your most accomplished player. I guess that's Travis Sanheim, most accomplished now because he's played in the Olympics. But regardless, he's your guy. He's the guy on this team. He was not at his best last night.
I agree with that. And the point I made after the game, I made it in my column as well on allphly.com, is that the Flyers just don't have that many guys that they can look to drive the bus offensively, and Travis Konecny is one of them, and he did not play the kind of game they needed him to play. And I think that probably played into some of the fan frustration with the quote too, is that fans wanted to hear Konecny say, I'm personally disappointed in my play because I didn't come through and I'm going to be better. I think maybe if he would have couched the rest of the quote and maybe start it with something like that and taken it on himself for not coming through, maybe people would have been more willing to accept the rest of it, because people were frustrated at Travis Konecny, and I get it. People are frustrated. This team hasn't made the playoffs since 2020. They've been in middle of the road territory since about 2012. People are ticked, and Konecny is fairly or unfairly viewed as one of the faces of an organization that people are very angry at right now. So he's kind of going to have to take the heat, especially when he does. Like, on a night, like I'm thinking back to, it might have been against the Blue Jackets, but there was a game in January where he hurts his foot and then plays on the hurt foot, plays on one leg and nearly carries the team to win. They end up losing the game. Whether it was an overtime or a shoot, I don't particularly remember, but I know they got a point out of it because Konecny carried them to the win. It's not like he hasn't done it before. It's not like he hasn't come through in big games before. He had that one game to halt the losing streak where they scored 2 goals and they're both Travis Konecny unassisted goals.
Yeah.
Like, we know he can come through in these games, but in this game, which was a big game, he didn't come through, and I think maybe people wanted to hear a little bit more of like self-flagellation in a way.
Sure, there was a 5-3 loss back at the end of January to Columbus. TK, hat trick. Like,
there we go.
And that's why I don't love criticizing TK, because sometimes I do look at him as almost alone on an island for this team in terms of an experienced point producer, high-end guy.
He's come through a lot.
He's come through a lot for us. It's just there ain't no one else a lot of the time. And last night, again, some games are just more important than others. Last night was one of those games. He wasn't there, not to belabor the point, but no points, no hits in a very important division home game. That's a rough performance. And his message was more to, like you said, it's more to the guys in the room than it is to appease the media who are, the middleman for the fans.
Yeah.
And that is what it is.
I think that's what it boils down to.
To quote Travis Konecny, didn't give us the quote we wanted, but maybe it's the quote the room needed. Like, brush it off, go beat Chicago, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
All right. To that point, high-end skill guys who have driven the bus offensively for a lot of this year. Trevor Zegras, over 19 minutes. He does get an assist on the Drysdale goal, but one shot. Not going to say he really stood out the way he has for at least the first half and quite a bit of this season. What'd you think of Zegras last night? And this was just another guy who, listen, it's a limited group, like you said, but he's one of them. Yeah. Not good enough.
Yeah, I think, and it's not only the fact that he didn't score a goal, the fact that he didn't have a major impact. He is one of the primary contributors to the mistakes that lead up to, I believe it was the second goal.
The Werenski goal.
It's the Werenski goal. He's involved in the defensive breakdown that allows Werenski to just carry the puck straight down Main Street and blast by Vladar. This was a bad game for Zegras. I know he picks up the assist. He did not play very well. They need him to be better. He is one of their better offensive players. That said, and I want to make this point, you can't have it both ways when you're talking about Zegras in the sense of, for months, and we've been doing it on the show, fans have been doing it on social media. I have fans tell me in real life, why isn't Trevor Zegras playing center? Why isn't Trevor Zegras playing center? They need centers. They need to try him out as center. He needs to learn that position. He needs to show he can do it. The hard truth is that the center position, which is what he's playing now, which is what he played primarily in this game, it is a position that has more responsibilities. It makes sense that if he's playing center, he's probably going to have to sacrifice a little offense, especially in this stage when he's very clearly trying to relearn the intricacies of the position. He's mostly played wing this year. He mostly played wing the year before, and he never was a particularly good all-around center, even when he was scoring a lot of points with Anaheim. You had to expect that moving him to center was going to lead to less offense, at least in the short term. So you kind of can't have it both ways. If you want to play him at center, if you want the Flyers to play him at center, you're going to have to accept that he's probably not going to be quite as dangerous offensively as he would be if he was still playing the wing. And that's just the reality of the position and the reality of moving to a position with more responsibilities than the position he was playing at when he was scoring at a point per game pace.
Especially as he is still figuring it out in terms of this Tocchet system, all of his extra responsibilities, mid-season position switch. I know he was doing the hybrid thing, but now he's being tasked with, he was a winger, and now he's being tasked with the actual center on the line. If you want a little silver lining, Charlie, 4 for 9 in the faceoff circle, 44%, which doesn't sound like a great percent.
That's like Noah Cates level.
Win one more of the 9 and you're over 50 and we're all happy. That's the way it comes down to. But again, Trevor Zegras, not exactly as good as we needed him last night, but I do think there are more reasons for it than just like, well, he wasn't good enough. Listen, at the end of the day, everyone's got their responsibility. They need to come through, but he's playing a position he's not that good at.
Yeah.
Like that's really fundamentally, he's not a very good center right now. Maybe he will be. We're hoping to find out one way or another, and it would be great if he is. Hey man, he's like a 70.2C. This is amazing. Yeah. Like that would be real cool.
Yeah, it would.
We'll see. We don't know the answer to that. They're trying it. And so there is a little bit of, while I'm disappointed, I get it. And I want to see this continue, though. Even if he's not the point-of-game player he was in the first half at this position right now, I want to see if they can build him up to it because that checks a really, really important box for this team.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, this is the right move. It is the right move to play him at center. Especially, I know it's maybe hurting him more because these are tight games. This is, run up to playoff hockey. This is end of the year. But hey, I'd rather him train with weighted clothing. I'd rather him go Piccolo in Dragon Ball Z, and train in a more difficult atmosphere before you take off the weighted clothes and then really go ham. But like that's my thing is that if you're going to put him in that position because you want him, because you think that's best for the organization long term, you're going to put him in a position where he's probably less likely to score than he would be on the wing, then you maybe have to, and I'm not saying you can't be frustrated. Hey, you're fans. You're allowed to be frustrated that one of the team's top scorers didn't provide much in a really big game. But just keep in the back of your head that, like, you asked for this, and you asked for this because you think it's best for the long-term future of the team. You might have to take some short-term hits to get to that long-term future.
But, Charlie, what I want is for him to play center and score 90 points.
I mean, that would be great. I would love that.
I want both of those things immediately.
Yeah.
And it turns out that might just be asking a little bit too much. All right, on the other side, I'm going to talk about Owen Tippett, another guy who didn't score last night. But listen, it's kind of hard to criticize Owen Tippett right now, even for me. We're going to talk a bunch about Owen Tippett on the other side. Stay tuned through this break. Do we really want Matvei Michkov playing goalie? No, it's not worth the risk, the time, or the money. It doesn't make sense. You want to keep your stars focused on what they do best, and the same applies to your business. For small and mid-sized businesses competing with bigger companies, it isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter. With competition heating up, you can't afford to fall behind. AI goes way beyond ChatGPT, and it gets overwhelming fast. That's why having a trusted guide like Togo matters. Togo streamlines your operations by handling customer service, accounting, order management, logistics, admin, data entry, and even complex multi-step processes without the cost of building it all in-house. And every engagement with Togo starts with free process mapping, and Togo doesn't bill a dime until the real work begins. Programs start as low as $1,000 a month and are built to scale without breaking the bank. Visit harnesstogo.com and mention PHLY for a free operational assessment. Let me tell you about a local business that's been helping Philly homeowners and businesses stay pest-free. It's Evans Pest Control. This isn't some giant national chain. They're a family-owned, community-focused pest control company right here in the Philly area, and they've been earning the trust of our neighborhoods for years. Evans Pest Control uses state-of-the-art equipment, safe and effective treatment options, and their techs go through continuous training so they're equipped to handle anything. Rodents, insects, termites, even bed bugs. They offer priority services and consultations, which is huge when you have a problem with pests. Everybody in Philly knows pests don't knock. They just show up. That's why you need Evans. So if you see signs of pests or just want to prevent them before they start, reach out to Evans Pest Control. Visit evanspestmgmt.com to schedule your free consultations. That's Evans Pest Control at evanspestmgmt.com. Half the show remains, and we are at 63 likes. Simply not enough. Simply not enough. Get us to 100 likes.
That's right.
You know you want to. It's totally free. It costs you nothing. Hit the like button. Give us that thumbs up. All right, Charlie. We went through the two guys who didn't come through in a major way offensively last night in Trevor Zegras and Travis Konecny, as I totally forget what we just did in the first 30 minutes. Owen Tippett last night plays over 18 minutes, 7 shots on goal, a hit, and 1 penalty taken as well. Listen, he doesn't come up with any points last night. But in a game where no one was good enough, yeah, he had his opportunities. He has that breakaway once again. It is a little bit more difficult for me to criticize Owen Tippett when he has been the most consistent offensive player for this team in the month of March, quite honestly.
Yeah, and he was pretty noticeably doing things.
Yes.
For him, the problem was finishing. You have to get, you get 7 shots on goal. You probably should find a way to get one of them in the net, and they needed goals. And they only had 1 goal up until, I won't call it garbage time because they were still in the game, but it's after they pull the goalie. It's a different type of hockey. They needed Tippett to get 1. He didn't get 1, but otherwise, yeah. He was impactful. Yes. He was noticeable.
I called it garbage time last night. It's not garbage time after they score, but leading up to it, to me, it kind of is.
Really? See, I don't think so. I've seen teams come back from 2-goal deficits all the time.
Certainly. This team that struggles to score 2.
Okay, fair.
That's now we need 2 in the last 5 minutes. Well, good luck.
Yeah,
when they top out at 2 most nights.
Teams can do it. They almost did it last night. They had some opportunities.
Absolutely can. The Flyers struggled to score 3, and they needed 2/3 of that in 3 minutes. That's hard.
Yeah, it's hard. Not impossible.
But Owen Tippett, in his last 9 games, 5 goals and an assist. And seeing how consistent and sometimes dominant he's actually been, I expected the point total to be a little bit higher, Charlie, and I see the 1 assist there when he's got the goal scoring, and this just led me to ask, I know no one's confusing him with a premier playmaker, he's not Claude Giroux, despite being traded for him and having the bright orange hair, but he's not that. He's never going to be a guy who racks up 50 assists. I do think it's a little, not even his fault at this point, though. When you see the low assist total, he's only got 18 on the season. How bad does he need someone who can keep up with him? Because he is a walking zone entry. But how many, especially during this stretch in March where he's just been so good, how many of his opportunities are even, they're not even 2-on-1s. They're straight up breakaways. He is, if not a breakaway, it's a 1-on-1 that he turns into a breakaway at the top of the circle because he just beats a dude to the outside and cuts back in. I feel like he's having trouble making, despite playing really well, his line mates better because it's and then 4 seconds later, here comes everyone behind him. If they had someone who could keep up with him, don't you think the production would be just inflated because of that?
Well, yes and no. So I think you're really talking about 2 different things here because the idea that he needs someone to keep up with him, that's objectively true in the sense that the Flyers just need more team speed. There's only 1 forward on this team, I would say, who can come close to keeping up with Owen Tippett, and it's Travis Konecny. And you don't necessarily want to stack both those guys on the same line, especially when they're both playing the right side at the moment. They especially need speed down the middle. That's where they're lacking it the most. There's a reason why, out of the players that have been brought up as realistic possible options, Robert Thomas would be great, and he's a great skater too. But I'm intrigued by Matty Beniers if he's actually available in Seattle because he's a very fast player. He's basically what they're hoping Jet Luchenko could turn into, where he's more of a defensive guy, but he's fast. He's a details guy, and you're hoping that put him with really good wingers, and then maybe the offense is going to skyrocket. I like that idea, but the idea of he needs somebody to keep up with him. I don't know if they play the kind of style where that's even possible because they don't stretch the zone. Most of his singular rushes, it's not like they would be 2-on-1s if there was another fast winger or another fast center because they're so focused on a methodical move up ice that I don't know if another guy is going to be able to catch up given the fact that most of Tippett's rushes come from Tippett.
He makes a play
and goes, and I don't know if anybody's catching up to him. Now, if they had another winger stretching the zone and then Tippett creates a rush on his own and then it's a 2-on-1 because Michkov was on the far blue line waiting for somebody to catch up, that's one thing, but that's not the style they play under Rick Tocchet.
The 2-on-1 thing, that was just hey, all of his rushes are breakaways. Sure. I don't think, that's not the style they play where it would be. And then, there was a guy waiting for him at the blue line. That's never going to be what they do under Rick Tocchet. But say he gets the breakaway and it gets stopped as his conversion rate on them this year isn't all that high despite how many he has had. someone a few steps behind him, the weak side winger or a Jet Luchenko who, even though he was, maybe at the hash marks of the defensive zone, can catch up with him or not be that far behind him as he blasts through the neutral zone going 0 to 60, turbocharged JJ style. Like, if you just had a guy who could then even keep the possession alive and it's not a one and done chance, because that was a lot of our criticism of the John Tortorella era was, yeah, man, they get all these fast breaks and stuff, but if they don't score in the 2-on-1, they didn't get a rebound. They didn't get another shot. It was, okay, now we need to block another shot so we can get another 2-on-1. That was how they played offense. If you just had a guy, and that's why I keep coming back to Jet Luchenko in my mind, who, listen, I think it's a coin flip if he's in the organization after this summer, simply because they need so much. Yeah. And if they're not trading Michkov and Martone, well, who's left? But like, just a guy with that level of playmaking ability to help Tippett be more effective, like inside the blue line on the secondary opportunity.
I think that could help. I think another thing, honestly, that could help, because look, Tippett has gotten better as a playmaker. I think we've seen that over the last couple of years.
We said it a lot last year.
Yeah, he's becoming a better playmaker. I don't think he's ever going to be a great playmaker. I think he could get maybe somewhere between 6 and 10 assists a year off of shots that become rebounds that other people put in.
Yeah.
And like they're assists because, yeah, he technically put the puck in the spot where the guy who eventually put it in gets the opportunity to put it in. But for that to happen, guys need to go to the net more. And that is something that Tocchet is preaching. And maybe if they get better at going to the net to put themselves in a position to deposit a Tippett rebound, because he's going to shoot a lot, and his role on the cycle is going to be get to the slot, get to an area, a dangerous area, and make himself a target for a pass. If he gets to that area, shoots the puck, and then you've got Porter Martone at the net front ready to put the rebound in, then suddenly maybe he picks up another extra 6-7 assists a year.
Yeah, and that's, again, like, he's never going to be a 50-assist guy. Like,
never. That's
just not who he's going to be
a 50-assist
unless
guy.
He shoots like 5% one season and the net front guy has 40 goals.
Yeah, right.
Like, I guess if we have a straight-up garbage man in front of the net just tipping every single one of his shots, sure, I guess that could be the case. But I'm just looking at this production like, man, 18 assists in 70 games for a guy who has been their most dangerous weapon for a lot of this season. That doesn't seem like a huge total, and I'm watching a lot of these games closely, like, hey, got stopped on the breakaway, and then you know what happened? They had a two-man breakout, easy out, because no one was even close. Now, part of that is the style they play. Like, they're not going to send everyone jetting down. We're not going to have a five-man forecheck. But, like, it would be nice if someone could keep up with them a little bit, and that just speaks to when we talk about trading Owen Tippett, all right, maybe he's not the perfect fit for what we do here because the skill set, no one can keep up with him, and we are trying to have a more forecheck-based offense. But, like, we trade him, team's slow.
Yeah.
Like, and not that they're fast to begin with, but we do at least have this element.
Yeah.
You take that away, and it's, we are plodding up the ice.
Yeah, it's right now they are a slow team with one guy that at least forces you when he's on the ice to respect speed.
Yeah.
You take him away, and again, I'm not opposed to the idea of trading Owen Tippett in the right package, but you have to understand that you will be losing a very unique element if you trade him and you don't get back another really fast player in return.
No, and that's kind of the quandary that they're in with this guy. Like, what exactly is he? And I love how he's been rounding out his game. Again, like the physicality element that he has brought this season. I think Rick Tocchet, as much as we criticize him, and quite a bit of it is valid, I think, it's hard for me to be like, Toc hasn't done a good job with this dude who looks like he's probably going to get to that 27, 28 goal number that he was at in his big seasons under Tortorella, and other things have come along. Like, we're talking about these breakaways he's created. So many of them. I mean, he's 3 shorthanded goals this year, using him in a different way, and so many of these opportunities, whether they're shorthanded or even strength, he's making a defensive play to make it happen.
Yeah.
And that's not something, we talked about this in the summer. Like, hey, I always kind of just wanted to use Tippett's speed as a weapon, the way we turned Travis Konecny into a weapon shorthanded. Do you think we could do that? And it was like, do you want him out there for the couple of odd shorthanded chances he'll get versus what you think you'll be getting out of him defensively on the whole, and he has turned himself into a more well-rounded player. Room to improve, but he's done it. It's just an interesting situation with him. He's one of the guys I'm really looking forward to seeing how they treat him this summer, because we've heard, Boston calls about him twice a week. Like, hey, man, what's going on?
Hey, you up?
Yeah, like, hey, what's up with that Owen Tippett? We could use that dude. And we talked, like, what would he look like in a Quenneville offense, where it's just, yeah, man, go hang out at the red line. Just cherry pick. Who cares? Like, where maybe he would just score so much because he gets 4 breakaways a game instead of 1.5, I can't believe where I am with him, and that's why I'm having trouble criticizing him for last night. Again, no 2 guys had as many as the 7 shots he put on goal. You need to put one in, but he's been doing that pretty consistently.
I think he's out of the 3, out of Zegras, Konecny, and Tippett, I think he is the least culpable for the loss.
Yeah.
However, you got to finish on one of them, man.
He
had some good chances.
Scoring a breakaway.
He did.
That's all I'm asking here. Score on a breakaway. All right, real quick before break. So, Charlie, we can look at, because they are doing the rebuild this way for a reason, and it's to have these learning experiences. And a lot of learning is failure. Last night, a failure. So are we looking at last night as an indictment of what this team has in big games, or hey, it's a learning experience for guys like Tippett and Zegras and Michkov who've never played in a big game in the NHL?
I mean, I think the answer to both is yes.
Yeah,
because it's an indictment of this particular incarnation of the Flyers. This
the
version,
2025-26 Philadelphia Flyers.
That this team did not have enough of it to come through in that big of a game. It is an indictment of where they stand now. Luckily, that doesn't have to be where they are, the incarnation of the Flyers next year or the year after that or the year after that. Hopefully, that incarnation of the Flyers will be better at coming through in games like this. Maybe that's because some players get moved out. Maybe that's because some current players learn lessons from failure in this situation and draw upon that in future games. But I think the answer is yes, because you can't absolve them. They were the team that played on the ice last night and did not come through in a must-win game. And they can't be absolved of that. But I don't think that necessarily means that if they're in a situation like this next season, that this team is going to fail, because it will be a different team. There will be different players, and hopefully the players that are on this team but will also be on next year's team will also be different players from where they were a year prior.
All right, we are at 89 likes. I have one more question for Charlie before the break, and we better be at 100 when we go to break, or I'm going to be upset. All right, you don't want to upset an insane Amish person.
He's not wrong.
All right. You see, you can make fun of the Amish because you know they're never going to see it.
Ouch. Ouch.
What are they going to watch this YouTube show?
I wonder.
Anyway.
Might have some diehard Flyers fans in the Amish community. Who knows?
That would be awesome.
It'd be pretty cool.
Anyway. We talk about they're doing the rebuild this way for the learning experience games like last night. So what's the point of not playing certain young guys, namely Grebenkin and Andrae, in these learning experience games?
It's a fair point.
No, what does Noah Juulsen got to learn? Yeah. What does Carl Grundstrom got to learn for the future of this team?
Well, it does seem like in retrospect the Grebenkin thing may have been some injury-driven things.
Yeah, I wrote this question before I saw Tocchet's availability.
But I think you're 100% right on the Andrae Juulsen stuff. If I had to guess as to why Juulsen played over Andrae, I think it's probably for 2 reasons. Number one, and this is just Rick Tocchet, and also, not to absolve Tocchet, but this is most NHL coaches. He just likes Juulsen better than Andrae at the moment. And Columbus is viewed as a big, tough team. Olivier was the guy who blew up Andrae on that hit last season. Yep. And there may have been a feeling of, like, this just isn't the right game for Andrae, so we're going to go with Juulsen because I just feel more comfortable with the bigger, more physical, more veteran presence guy back there. That's reason number one. Reason number two, that I'm theorizing, and I did not talk to Rick Tocchet, I don't know for sure, these are just my theories. But reason number two, and this goes back to what you were saying about, like, well, if these are learning experiences for the kids, why aren't the kids playing? I don't think Rick Tocchet sees Emil Andrae as a kid that is going to be part of this long term, so he doesn't personally feel the need to prioritize Andrae's development in these types of learning experience big games, because he don't think Andrae is going to be part of this in a year or two. And I don't think that's necessarily the right way to do it, because maybe he will be. Who knows? It's not a foregone conclusion he's going to get moved. I just have a feeling that Tocchet and maybe even people above Tocchet are like, yeah. Like, I don't think Danny Briere is like out on Andrae, but let me put it this way. I don't think Andrae is high enough in Danny Briere's estimation that
he's going to go into the
that he's going to go into Tocchet's office
yeah.
at 3 p.m. and be like, yo, you got to play Andrae. He's important. He's going to let Tocchet do what he wants. And if what Tocchet wants is not to play Andrae, well,
that's pretty much it. And you nailed it. 100. Hey! Way to go. All right, on the other side, we're going to talk about how we got to where we are in the season and what's next for the Flyers. And if there's time, we're going to do playoff format, but we got Super Chats too. So we'll figure that out. Stay tuned through this final break. Have you ever had one of those days where you're moving nonstop and suddenly you realize you forgot to eat? Happens to me all the time, and that's why I love what Wawa is doing right now, because Wawa has $5 deals all day, and honestly, it just makes life easier. If you're starting early, you can grab the $5 big breakfast meal deal. We're talking a breakfast sandwich, a hash brown, at any size hot or iced coffee. That's a full morning win for $5, available from 5 to 11 a.m. Then later in the day, the value keeps rolling with a crispy chicken sandwich created your way, starting at just $5, and they've even got new teriyaki recipes for a limited time. It's real food, real value, and built for busy days. No planning, no overthinking. Just swing in, grab what you need, and keep it moving. Start your day strong and fuel up whenever you need with Wawa's $5 deals. Limited time, exclusions apply. See Wawa.com for details. Gotta have a Wawa. What if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? Well, that's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Imagine Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together. Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. And Wi-Fi that lets you stream the game even when the whole family's already online. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And the best part, there's no annual contracts and no hidden fees. And Xfinity's best equipment is always included. Take it from me, a lot can change in 5 years. Championships are won, records are broken, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi, it should stay reliable and the price should stay put. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only, restrictions apply, and as always, let's go Flyers. All right, welcome back. Before we can answer, so what's next for this team, I want to take a quick look at how we got here. And I think the answer is pretty simple, Charlie.
Okay.
They can't beat the Metro Division.
That's real bad, given the fact that they're the teams they play against the most.
Yeah, they're
only going to play them more as the schedule when we moved from 82 to 84.
Yeah, like if they played the West as much as they play their division, they might win this division.
I mean, also that might be the case for every team in the East.
Yeah, I mean, the West, absolutely. We'll get to that, too, maybe, if we get to playoff format. It's hilarious. Like, Ducks, magical season. They are percentage points ahead of the Flyers. And, like, they get to play Vancouver all the time. Anyway, the record against the Metro. They have a winning record against three teams, the Devils, Islanders, and Caps.
Okay.
And if you really look, so they're 9-8-5 against the division. And they are absolutely horrible since December against the teams that they line up against all the time. 0-5-3 December and January. They've bounced back a little, but they're still win-loss 500 in February and March against the division. This year, Charlie, you look at this. 4 regulation wins against division opponents, and it's 2 against the Caps, 2 against the Devils. They don't have a regulation win over the Rangers, who were done 2 months ago.
That's the kill.
Like, yeah, you lost 3 out of 4 to the Rangers, you see there. Like, all right, so we have 3 points in 4 games against the worst team in the East. That's not enough. 2-4-4 against Metro playoff teams. Both of those wins, shootout wins over the Penguins. So even when you're beating your direct competition, you're not actually gaining anything because they're getting loser points out of you. They are 0-6-1 against Eastern Conference playoff teams during that little 15-game slump we keep talking about, January 8th up until the break. 9 of the Flyers' 21 regulation wins are against the Eastern Conference as a whole. Less than half against the conference that they're in. Like, this is the direct problem, and I don't know how you fix it. Like, it's not as if the East is great. They're just a bunch of teams that are kind of as good or maybe a little better than the Flyers, other than, like, I don't know, 2? Like, really? And you look at the Canes, they've gotten a loser point. They're 0-3, but it's all 3 overtime or shootout losses. Yeah. Like, you at least get the loser point. But, man, if you can't beat these teams, one, even if you make the playoffs, it doesn't bode well.
Sure.
But is this something, is it kind of to you like the home road thing? Like, I don't know. How do you explain it? I don't know what it means, but it's how we got here. They can't beat the teams in their division.
Yeah, I really think I limit the major part of this critique to their play against 2 teams. It's the Rangers and the Blue Jackets. Because you look at it like, okay, they beat the Devils twice. Cool. Islanders, they've won 2 out of 3. Penguins, they've split. Penguins are pretty good this year. That's fine. Like, yeah, ideally you're not giving them extra points, but sure, 2-2, it's okay. Capitals are 2-1. Hurricanes, yeah, I mean, you've lost all 3, but Hurricanes are the best team in the division, and functionally this is a 1-1-1 record, which if you looked at it that way, it wouldn't look that bad at all, especially when it's like Hurricanes are the best team in the division. You've got, 3 out of possible 6 points. That's not too bad. The Blue Jackets, you don't have a win against them. And they're a team that very much is going to be in this. Like, I don't think the Blue Jackets are going anywhere long term. I don't know if I see the Blue Jackets as a team where it's like, oh man, we got to be scared of them. Like, they're going to be a powerhouse. But they're going to be in the mix over these next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. They're going to be in the playoff mix. You're going to have to figure out a way to beat them. And then the Rangers. How can you not beat the Rangers in regulation? They're not even trying anymore.
It took a review to get them to double-digit shots the other night. It was at 9 when everyone went to bed, and everyone woke up and they added a 10th shot, like against Ottawa, who Ottawa is playing really well, especially defensively, but like 10, 9, like that's what this team is, and like you got blown out by them a couple of games ago when like overall the Flyers have been pretty good, and it's, hey man, you get that one last night maybe isn't as big. Even if you can get like a loser point against Columbus, it's not the end of the world. And instead, like, okay, you lost another one in regulation. It's rough. So as the title of this episode asks, what's next, Charlie? Obviously, the team on the ice every night, they're going to play like it matters until it absolutely does not. Until they are mathematically told they are eliminated, they don't think it's over, nor should they. Don't want a team of quitters. But they're basically out of the division race. The Pens, Jackets, and Isles ahead of them. They're not a whole lot closer in the wild card with Boston, Ottawa, Detroit, and the Isles all in the mix. What should we, the fans, be focusing on these next 12 games? Is it like, hey, call up 1 or 2 of Bonk, McDonald, and Yurchek. Maybe sign some college UFAs. I looked into the Michigan State thing again. They play UConn tomorrow. They'll probably win and then play the winner of Dartmouth, Wisconsin on Saturday or Sunday. Then there's the NCAA semis. They're not till April 8th and 9th. NCAA title games, April 11th. Flyers season ends the 14th. The earliest we're going to see Martone is like April. Probably not at all.
Unless they lose.
And they could.
Upsets happen all the time.
Just like if they play the 28th or 29th, the earliest we could see him is April, I think. And then, listen, they could lose tomorrow and then, hey, he's here. But I doubt it.
Just saying it's possible.
It's possible. Like, so I don't know if we're going to see Martone more than a couple of games, if at all. Is it simply wait for those guys? Is it continue to judge them for the final 12? Like, what is your message to the fans in these final 12?
I mean, I guess it just depends on what you're looking for. Like, I mean, my job is going to be treating them as if they can still make the playoffs. Do I know it's unlikely? Sure. Absolutely, I know it's unlikely. They know it's unlikely, but they still could do it if they win most of the rest of their games. I'm just skeptical they will, but I'm going to continue to cover them as if it's a possibility because they have not been eliminated, and they do still, in a sense, more or less, they hold their fate in their own hands. Like, if they were to win their final 12 games, they're almost certainly making the playoffs. Now, again, I don't expect them to, but they can tell themselves that, hey, if we win out, we basically control our own destiny. Chances of there being a team that misses the playoffs with 104 points seems unlikely. It's
very.
So I'm going. So me as a media person, I'm going to treat this as if they can still make the playoffs, and I'm going to continue to cover them like that. Now, as a fan, you don't have to do that. You can treat the rest of the season as if, like, yeah, I want to see them try to get the highest possible draft pick, and if you want to root against them, that's your prerogative. If you want to only focus on the guys who you feel like should be part of the future, if you only want to pay attention to Michkov or Drysdale, or Bump or Barkey. That's a perfectly valid way to watch this team as well. As for the call-ups, Okay, go to overtime first.
Yeah, we got to go to overtime. Go to allphly.com to finish up. As for the call-ups, I'm just not sure when it's going to happen, because I can tell you with David Jiricek in particular, what I was told after the trade deadline was they would like to get him in a couple games, but they're not going to rush him up. They know that this is the last time, because he's no longer waiver exempt next season. He's going to almost certainly make the team and probably play as their every night third pair right-handed shot defenseman. That is the plan for next season. This is the last time they can do remedial work with him in the minors against lower level competition, where, like, if he makes a mistake in the AHL, there's a decent chance it's not going to get capitalized on. If he makes a big mistake in the NHL, it's probably a goal. And this is their time to work on the big things with him against lesser competition in a way they're not going to be able to next year. So expect him to be down. I expect him personally to be down in the AHL most of the season, maybe get in a couple games right at the end. Now, as for Bonk and McDonald, maybe. I haven't been following them that closely. It really depends on how they're looking down there and if somebody gets hurt. That's the other thing, is they have 6. You know, they have 7. Right now, that's the.
I mean, that part of what we talked about today was the Andrae Juulsen thing.
Yeah, and so we'll see. Like, when I remember when they said we'll maybe get a look at Jiricek, like, couple games at the end of the season. To me, that's the 13th and 14th of April, the final 2 games, home back-to-back against Carolina and Montreal.
Maybe 1 or 2
Maybe
more
they go
than
on the trip before that.
Maybe.
They have the 3-game trip to Jersey, Detroit, Winnipeg before they come home for the final 2. Maybe he goes on the trip, plays in 1 or 2 of the 3, something like that. But it's just, I feel like we're not going to get anything new unless Michigan State goes out early or something like that. Like, that's kind of what I'm looking at this point. And it's a little disappointing, but there are plenty of guys, like we talked about, that we can focus on. Jamie Drysdale, offense continuing to come around. Matvei Michkov, hey, man, if he scores 12 goals in the next 12 games, we're all happy. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm just saying it's possible.
Yeah. Barkey, bump.
They're already here. Yeah. You know, there's stuff to look at. It's just, man, last night took a lot out of me, so much to the point that I decided to look like a weirdo today. But that's it. So what's next? I have no idea for this team. I think they're gonna, again, I want to see them. It's not like I want to see them pack it in, because if you have a team of quitters, well, that means all this was a waste of time. I want to see them continue, and like we said, Zegras at center. It's a struggle, but I want to see more of it.
I think it's basically like, you want to see them play well and you want to see them try hard, but you also want to be able to complain about it.
Yes,
which 100%. Is fair.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's been a while. It's been a while since they were any good. I think we have a right to complain. All right. Maybe just about stuff that matters. All right. Let's get to, and great job. What's that say? 118, I think, likes. Way to go.
Gang.
All right. Let's get to some of these super chats and then get out of here for the day. Mark Canoli leads it off. Charlie, with the OG Piccolo reference, Bill shed his mustache like weighted clothing. I can wait to get the Dragon Balls to bring the cup to Philly.
Can we get the Dragon Balls?
Can we get
to bring the cup to Philly?
I didn't understand that reference, but I'm sure several people did.
William, it shocks me that you're like a wrestling person and you didn't like Dragon Balls.
Yeah, I didn't realize the
crossover. How did you miss that?
I didn't realize the crossover of anime and wrestling, and it turns out like I'm the only one.
It's like 1-to-1.
Yes.
Everybody who's into wrestling is also into anime.
It's 99,
particularly Dragon Ball Z, which is basically wrestling.
It's 99.9 to 100 and I am the 0.1%. I missed it. I just wasn't an anime kid.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah. All right. Next one is AOB 52. Bill, what'll it take for you to grow mutton chops?
Bill, I'm gonna save you on this one. Do not make a bet. Do not make a vow. Let's not. The hair is finally growing back. Do not do this again. I'm gonna stop you. I'm gonna save you from yourself.
I was gonna say something, but I'm not gonna say it.
Don't say it.
All right. We'll see. All right. R. Park says, Bill and Charlie, if you were GM of the Flyers for a day, what would be the one move you would make? I would simply trade for Connor McDavid.
Yeah,
there's a lot of ways you could go. Like, realistically, I don't know. That's like a whole show.
Yeah, it's an entire show.
I would try to do something real big, I'll tell you that. Or I would cut everyone and see if we can lose the final 12 games in regulation and get into the top 10.
I
don't even know if that's possible at this point.
I have a feeling I know what Kelly's choice would be.
Yeah. That's funny.
That's funny.
That's a good one. Is there like one move out there that you're like, that's the one for this team?
No, I don't think for me there's like one single move.
All right. We'll get into that this summer, our park. David Chubb had to stay off the chat yesterday. Not safe for Super Chat.
David was big mad.
Yesterday was a tough one for all of us, I think. All right, and local drunk 69. The Detroit parallels the Detroit parallels in this rebuild has us concerning. Beloved players, GM with too long of a leash. Top end players are second liners on Cup team. Other than Mo Sider.
Yeah, I mean, there are some similarities.
There are some similarities. Also,
I would put Raymond on first liner level too.
Detroit much further along in this thing.
They are a lot further along.
Like, what has, I guess the Gibson trade, and like that was, like he just did that the same time as Danny got Zegras. Like, what is the big move that he has made that compares to what Danny's already done? And like a lot more work to do. But, like, I don't know. You giving up first-round picks for middling defensemen? Danny hasn't done that yet.
I think the big difference between the two, at least thus far, from a Danny Briere perspective, that should be encouraging to Flyers fans, is that my big issue with the way Yzerman's done in Detroit is I think he's general managed scared. I think he should have made a couple big moves by now, and it seems like he is more focused on like keeping all of his prospects and seeing how they're going to be. Danny has shown much more creativity and aggressiveness on the trade market. Now, he has to be even more aggressive. He has to make his big moves, but like I don't know if Steve Yzerman trades for Trevor Zegras.
Yeah. No, it's 100%. I don't think they're just so much further along in this thing than the Flyers are. But yeah, I see the parallels as well. All right, a couple more here. This is K-Red. Brent Laugh Tax, great job this morning with Cuz. Yes, absolutely. We always pay the Brent tax. All right, next one. I think this is the last one from Mellerman. How did your draft go, Charlie?
Oh yeah.
So Michael Mellerman filled in on Saturday, and we made some references to where you were.
Yeah, I was doing my fantasy baseball draft. I do not know how the draft went. We will see how the season plays out. I will say I am quite happy with my team.
Did you get Matsui?
I got a Yamamoto.
Oh, there you go.
I got Yamamoto, and I got Zach Wheeler for cheap. So hopefully he comes back and is the exact same Zach Wheeler that he has been the last few years.
Probably better.
Otherwise, that could be wasted money. But I'm betting on him returning at Cy Young form.
And make sure you check out the PHLY Philly show Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right here on the PHLY Sports YouTube. It's back, and we've got Corey Seidman, damn it.
Hey-o.
You're going to want to check it out. First episode was today. It's available right here. Watch it after the fact. Some good stuff. I saw it this morning. Loved what I saw. All right, and that is all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers, presented by Bet365. Thank you all for listening. Thanks for hanging out. If you haven't already, you got to hit that subscribe button. Follow us right here on the PHLY Sports YouTube page. So much content all the time. Do it and hit the like button while you're at it. Follow us on Twitter at PHLY_Flyers and follow the podcast wherever you get those. I am Bill Matz. That's Charlie O'Connor. Thank you to Brenna. Be excellent to each other.
We all silly like the mayor.